Škoda is a Czech automobile manufacturer. The company was founded on December 18, 1895 by Václav, Laurin, and Václav Klement, and to this very day, the company is still alive and healthy. So, how did it become so popular? Let's find out. The Škoda works were established as an arms manufacturer in 1859. Škoda Auto and its predecessor Laurin and Klement is the fifth oldest company producing cars and has been unbroken history alongside Daimler, Opel, Peugeot, and Tatra. Laurin and Klement. As with many long-established car manufacturers, the company, which would become Škoda Auto, started in the early 1890s by manufacturing bicycles. Škoda, then Laurin and Klement, factories were founded in 1896 as a velocipede manufacturer. In 1894, 127 years ago, 26-year-old Václav Klement, who was a bookseller in Mladá Boleslav, Kingdom of Bohemia, today's Czech Republic, then part of Austria-Hungary, was unable to obtain spare parts to repair his German bicycle. Klement returned his bicycle to manufacturers Seidel and Neumann with a letter in Czech asking them to carry out repairs, only to receive a reply in German stating, "If you want us to answer you, we insist that you convey your message in a language we understand." Not satisfied with the reply and realizing the business potential, Klement, despite having no technical experience, decided to start a bicycle repair shop with Václav, Laurin, and he opened in 1896 in Mladá Boleslav. Before going into partnership with Klement, Laurin was an established bicycle manufacturer in the nearby town of Turnov. In 1898, after moving to their newly built factory, the pair bought a Warner motorcyclette. Laurin and Klement's first motorcyclette, powered by an engine mounted on the handlebars driving the front wheels, proved dangerous and unreliable. An early accident on it cost Laurin a front tooth. To design a safer machine with its structure around the engine, the pair wrote to German ignition specialist Robert Bosch for advice on a different electromagnetic system. Their new Slavia motorcycle made its debut in 1899, and the company became the first motorcycle factory in Central Europe. In 1900, with a company workforce of 32, Slavia exports began and 150 machines were shipped to London for the Hudson firm. Shortly afterwards, the press credited them as makers of the first motorcycle. By 1905, the firm was manufacturing automobiles, making it the second oldest car manufacturer in the Czech lands after Tatra. The company, with an area of 7,800 square meters, had a workforce of 320 and used 170 special machine tools, power driven by 100 horsepower, 75 kilowatts of steam power. The first model, Voiturette A, was a success, and the company was established both with Austria-Hungary and internationally. Škoda. After World War I, the Laurin and Klement company began producing trucks, but in 1924, after running into problems and being affected by a fire on their premises, the company sought a new partner. Meanwhile, Akavia Specjalnost Driv Skovody Zavody Limited Company, formerly the Škoda Works, an arms manufacturer and multi-sector concern in Pilsen, which had become one of the largest industrial enterprises in Europe and the largest in Czechoslovakia, sought to enlarge its non-arms manufacturing base, so acquired Laurin and Klement in 1925. It also started manufacturing cars in cooperation with Hispano-Suiza. Most of the later production took place under Škoda's name. An assembly line was used for production from 1930 onwards. In the same year, a formal spin-off of the car manufacturer into a new company, Akavia Specjalnost pro Automobilový průmysl, or abbreviated ASAP, took place. ASAP remained a wholly owned subsidiary of the Škoda Works and continued to sell cars under the Škoda marquee. Apart from the factory in Mladá Boleslav, it included also the firm's representation, sales office, and services, as well as a central workshop in Pargu. At the time, the car factory in Mladá Boleslav covered an area of 215,000 meters squared and employed 3,750 blue-collar and 500 white-collar workers. After a decline caused by the economic depression, Škoda introduced a new line of cars in the 1930s, which significantly differed from its previous products. A new design of chassis with backbone tube and all-around independent suspension was developed under the leadership of chief engineer Vladimir Moschos and modeled on the one first introduced by Hans Ledwinka in Tatra. First used on models Škoda 420 standard in 1933, it aimed at solving insufficient torsional stiffness of the latter frame. The new design of the chassis became the basis for models popular 845 to 1089 cc, rapid 1165 to 1766 cc, favorite 1802 to 2091 cc, and superb 2492 to 3991 cc. While in 1933, Škoda had a 14% share of the Czech-Slovak car market and occupied third place behind Pogra and Tatra. The new line made it a market leader by 1936, with a 39% share in 1938. World War II. During the occupation of Czechoslovakia in World War II, the Škoda Works were turned into part of the Reichswerk Hermann Göring, serving the German war effort by producing components for military terrain vehicles, military planes, and other weapons components and cartridge cases. Vehicle output decreased from 7,052 in 1939 to 683 in 1944, of which only 35 were passenger cars. Between January and May 1945, 316 trucks were produced. The UK and US Air Forces bombed the Škoda Works repetitively between 1940 and 1945. The final massive air raid took place on April 25, 1945, and resulted in the almost complete destruction of the Škoda Armament Works and about 1,000 dead or injured. Post-World War II, when by July 1945, the Mladá Boleslav factory had been reconstructed, production of Škoda's first post-World War II car, the 1101 series, began. It was essentially an updated version of the pre-World War II Škoda Popular. In the autumn of 1948, Škoda, along with all other large manufacturers, became part of the communist planned economy, which meant it was separated from the parent company Škoda Works. In spite of unfavorable political conditions and losing contact with technical development in non-communist countries, Škoda retained a good reputation until the 1960s, producing models such as the Škoda 440 Spartak, 445 Octavia, Felicia, and Škoda 1000 MB. In late 1959, the Škoda Felicia was a compact four-cylinder convertible coupe, was imported into the United States for model year 1960. Its retail price was around $2,700 US, for which one could purchase a nicely equipped V8 domestic car that was larger, more comfortable, and had more luxury and convenience features. Gasoline retailed for less than 30 cents per US gallon, so fuel economy was not of primary importance in the United States at that time. Those Felicias that made it to American ownership soon had a number of reliability problems, further damaging the car's reputation. The Felicia was, therefore, a poor seller in the US, and leftover cars ended up being keyed off at a fraction of the original retail list. Since that time, Škoda automobiles have not been imported into the US for retail sale. In the late 1980s, Škoda, then named Automobily Zhodový Národní podnik, or abbreviated as AZNP, was still manufacturing cars that conceptually dated back to the 1960s. Rear-engine models such as the Škoda 105/120 Estelle and Rapid sold steadily and performed well against more modern makes in races such as the RAC Rally in the 1970s and 1980s. They won their class in the RAC Rally for 17 years running. They were powered by a 130 brake horsepower, 97 kilowatt, 1,289 cubic centimeters, 78.7 cube inches engine. In spite of its dated image and becoming the subject of negative jokes, what do you call a Škoda with a sunroof? A skit. Škodas remained a common sight on the roads of the United Kingdom and Western Europe throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Sport versions of the Estelle and earlier models were produced, using the name Rapid. Soft-top versions were also available. The Rapid was once described as the poor man's Porsche and had significant sales success in the UK during the 1980s. To drivers in the UK, the vehicles which chugged off Škoda's production line in Pilsen, Czechoslovakia, embodied all that was wrong with the planned economies of the Soviet satellite states. Of course, that was Škoda became the Škoda became such a figure of fun was in part due in its ubiquity on Britain's roads. The company must have been doing something right. In 1987, the Favorite was introduced and was one of a trio of compact front-wheel hatchbacks from the three main Eastern Bloc manufacturers around that time. The others being VAZ's Lada Samara and Zasta's Yugo Sana. The Favorite's appearance was the work of the Italian-designed company Bertone, with some motor technology licensed from Western Europe but still using the Škoda-designed 1289cc engine. Škoda engineers designed a car comparable with Western production. The technological gap was still there, but began closing rapidly. The Favorite was very popular in Czechoslovakia and other Eastern Bloc countries. It also sold well in Western Europe, especially in the UK and Denmark due to its low price, and was regarded as solid and reliable. However, it was perceived as having poor value compared with contemporary Western European designs. The Favorite's trim levels were improved and continued to be sold until the introduction of the Felicia in 1994. Volkswagen Group subsidiary. Until 1990, Škoda was still making its outdated range of rear-engine small family cars, although it had started production in the Favorite front-wheel drive hatchback and in 1987 as an eventual replacement. The fall of communism was the Velvet Revolution, brought great changes to Czechoslovakia, and most industries were subject to privatization. In the case of Škoda Automobile, the state authorities brought in a strong foreign partner. The tender for privatization was announced in 1990. 24 different companies were registered for the tender, while only 8 of them expressed a serious interest: BMW, GM, Renault, Volvo, Volkswagen, Ford, Fiat, and Mercedes-Benz. In August 1990, Volkswagen and Renault were on the short list. Renault first offered to terminate Favorite production and replace it with the outdated Renault 18 Derviat and new Renault Twingo, which would have eliminated the Škoda brand. This offer was declined and Renault prepared a new one. They offered a 60-40 joint venture, 40% share of Renault, while Škoda Favorite production was to be retained and produced side by side with the Renault 19 and producing engine units, gearboxes, and other components for Renault. Total investment would have been $2.6 billion US, which is $5 billion US in 2019. Volkswagen offered to continue favorite production and preserve the Škoda brand, including recognition of research and development. Volkswagen offered a purchase of 30% Škoda share, gradually increasing to 70%. Volkswagen total investment would have been $6.6 billion US, which is $13 billion US in 2019 by 2000. The government inclined on the Renault side, while the Škoda trade union preferred Volkswagen because it offered significantly larger potential for development of the company. Volkswagen was chosen by the Czech government on December 9, 1990, and as a result, on March 28, 1991, a joint venture partnership agreement with Volkswagen took place, marked by the transfer of 30% share to the Volkswagen Group on April 16, 1991, raised later on December 19, 1994 to 60.3%, and the year after, on December 11, 1995 to 70% of its shares, with the aim of making Volkswagen the controlling shareholder of Škoda. On May 30th, 2000, Volkswagen AG completed acquisition of Škoda Auto, making the company a wholly owned subsidiary. At the time of the decision was made, privatization to a major German company was somewhat controversial, since anti-German sentiment still lingered in the Czech Republic from the war and its aftermath. Subsequent fortunes of other Eastern Bloc automobile manufacturers such as Lada, Auto VAZ, and Škoda Works itself, once Škoda Auto's parent company, arguably suggested that Volkswagen involvement was not necessarily a result of poor judgment. Backed by Volkswagen Group expertise and investments, the design, both style and engineering, has improved greatly. The 1994 model Felicia was effectively a reskin of the favorite, but quality and equipment improvements helped. And in the Czech Republic, the car was perceived as a good value for money and became popular. Sales improved across Europe, including the United Kingdom, where the Felicia was one of the best-ranking cars in customer satisfaction surveys. Volkswagen AG chairman Fernand Piëch personally chose Dirk van Boxerel as the head of design, and the subsequent Octavia and Fabia models made their way to the demanding European Union markets. They are built on common Volkswagen Group floor pans. The Fabia, launched at the end of 1999, formed the basis for later versions of the Volkswagen Polo and SEAT Ibiza, while the Octavia, launched in 1996, has shared its floor pan with a host of cars, the most popular of which is the Volkswagen Golf MK4. The perception of Škoda in Western Europe has completely changed since the takeover by Volkswagen, in stark comparison with the reputation of the cars throughout the 1980s, described by some as the laughingstock of the automotive world. As technical development progressed and attractive new models were marketed, Škoda's image was initially slow to improve. In the UK, a major turnabout was achieved with the ironic "It is Škoda, honest" campaign, which began in 2000 when the Fabia launched. In a 2003 advertisement on British television, a new employee on the production line was fitting Škoda badges on the car bonnets. When some attractive-looking cars come along, he stands back, not fitting the badge. Since they look so good, they cannot be Škoda's. The market campaign worked by confronting Škoda's image problem head-on, a tactic which marketing professionals regarded as a high risk. By 2005, Škoda was selling 30,000 cars a year in the UK, a market share over 1%. For the first time in its UK history, a waiting list developed for deliveries from Škoda. UK owners have consistently ranked the brand at or near the top of the customer satisfaction surveys since the late 1990s. In 1991, Škoda built 172,000 units, exporting 26% of its production to 30 countries, while in 2000 it built 435,000 units, exporting 82% of its production to 72 countries. Growth strategy. One of the most important years for Škoda Auto 2010 was 2010 in terms of both products and management. On September 1st, 2010, Professor Dr. H.C. Winfried Vahland assumed responsibility for the management of the company, becoming the CEO of Škoda Auto. In the same year, Škoda set forth plans to double the company's annual sales to at least 1.5 million by 2018, later known as the growth strategy, Czech Rostrieva strategy. At the 2010 Paris Motor Show in September 2010, the company unveiled the Octavia Green E line. This e-car concept was foreigner to the e-car test fleet that Škoda released in 2012. The final first-generation Octavia Tour was produced at the Madla Boleslav plant in November 2010. The worldwide production of this model exceeded 1.4 million units since its release in 1996. In 2010, the first time in history, China overtook German sales to become Škoda's largest individual market. In 2011, Škoda Auto celebrated its 20-year partnership with Volkswagen Group. More than 75,000 visitors attended an open house event held in Madla Boleslav in April. Earlier that year, the company provided details on its 2018 growth strategy for at least one new or completely revised model to be released every 6 months. With this in mind, the company redesigned its logo and corporate identity CI, which was presented at the 2011 Geneva Motor Show, Škoda's main attraction. At the event was the Vision D design concept, a foreigner to the future third-generation Octavia. Škoda presented the Mission L design study at the IAA in Frankfurt am Main in September, which was to become the basis of the company's forthcoming compact model in the European Rapid. In the same year, the company started production of the new Rapid model in Pune, India, October 2011, and launched the Škoda Citigo at Volkswagen Bratislava plant in November 2011. In 2012, Škoda introduced two new mass production models. The European version of the Rapid premiered at the Paris Motor Show. This car was a successor to the first generation Octavia in terms of its price bracket. The second model, the third generation Octavia, which premiered in December 2012. In the same month, local production of the Yeti was launched at the Nizhny Novgorod GAZ factory. In 2012, Škoda introduced an emission-free on-the-street fleet of Octavia Green E line e-cars on Czech roads to be used by external partners. Since internal tests on the fleet in late 2011, the E-fleet had driven more than 250,000 kilometers. During the same year, Škoda celebrated several milestones, including 14 million Škoda cars being produced since 1905 January, 3 million Fabias May, 500,000 Superbs at Kamenetsky plant June, and 5 years of Škoda operations in China. Massive rejuvenation of the model range was a major tune for 2013 at Škoda. The Czech car maker launched a third-generation Octavia Combi and Octavia RS, both liftback and E-State, as well as facelifted Superb and Superb Combi. They were accompanied by brand new members of the Rapid family as the Rapid Spaceback, the first Škoda hatchback car in the compact segment, and the Chinese version of the Rapid. The Yeti also faced significant changes. With the facelift, 2 design variants of Škoda's compact SUV are now available, the city-like oriented Yeti and rugged Yeti Outdoor. Chinese customers were also given a Yeti with an extended wheelbase. In 2015, Volkswagen admitted that it had installed pollution-cheating software in many of its cars to fool regulators that its cars met emission standards, when in fact they polluted at much higher levels than government standards. About 1.2 million Škoda cars worldwide were fitted with the emissions cheating device. Škoda stated that Volkswagen would recall the cover refitting costs for all the cars affected by the scandal. In 2015, Škoda was voted the most dependable car brand in the UK. A corporate strategy was launched in 2015 to produce a range of all-electric cars from 2019. Škoda Auto started to manufacture the large 7-seat SUV Škoda Kodiaq in 2016. It was introduced at the Paris Motor Show in October 2016, and sales began at early 2017. In the second half of 2017, sales began of the new compact SUV Škoda Kodiaq, which officially replaced the Škoda Yeti. The automaker introduced in December 2018 a new small family car, the Škoda Scala. In February 2019, the company introduced Geneva, the new subcompact crossover Škoda Kament. And there's the history of Škoda. How did it become so popular? Well, if you look at it this way, Volkswagen was already popular in many parts of the world, and when they teamed up with Škoda, Škoda also became, I would say, just as popular, or maybe even close to being popular as Volkswagen. And I think that's how they became popular. Anyways, this is where I'm going to end off today's video. If you guys happen to enjoy this video, please make sure to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe because I do videos every single day. And also don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss a single video that I upload. And also don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell on my second channel. My second channel will be the third link in the description below. And if you guys would like to send me fan art, you guys can send me fan art on my Instagram. My Instagram will be the second link in the description below. And if you guys would like to join my Roblox fan group, my Roblox fan group will be the first link in the description below. And if you guys would like to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter will be the fourth link in the description below. And if you guys would like to follow me on Reddit, my Reddit will be the fifth link in the description below. And if you guys would like to follow me on TikTok, my TikTok will be the sixth link in the description below. And if you guys would like to check out my Facebook page will be the seventh link in the description below. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!